have a question for you. Why are some creatives able to create gorgeous projects while others are feeling like they're still in middle school's home ec? Why do some quilters finish their quilts while others have a huge pile of UFOs? And why are some of these creatives proud to show off their quilts while others are stuffing that project as far back as they can into a closet? Hi, my name is Rachel Miller. I'm the founder of Journey Back Quilts, and I'm an award-winning quilter. I want to invite you to my online class, Farm Girl Vintage, written by Lori Holt. In this class, you're going to discover step-by-step video instructions for creating this gorgeous quilt. We are going to help you make progress quickly and with less frustration. You too can finish a quilt you'll be proud to show off. So if you're creative but you haven't learned how to quilt yet, or you're already a quilter but you're struggling to finish a project you'll be proud to show off, join me in this class where you'll discover that creatives like you are less frustrated and enjoying the quilting process more. You will get Lori Holt's book, Farm Girl Vintage, her helpful Seems So Easy guide, and a supportive community to help you along your way. Click the link to sign up today, and I'll see you there. Hello, my friends. How are we doing this morning? Are you still hanging out at home, just resting and relaxing in your PJs? Well, good for you. I have my tea here, so go grab a good drink like your coffee or something, and then snuggle back in on your couch or your bed, and let's chat about the Farm Girl Vintage class. So this is going to be a little bit longer than most of my lives, and we are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and our Facebook group, the Show and Tell page. So hello to everybody. If you are here with me, please comment hi, and I would love to know who you are. If you are watching the replay, just comment #replay, and I'd love to know who you are as well. So welcome everyone. Let's get started here. So I am trying out a whole bunch of new tech stuff. So bear with me a little bit. I'm a quilter, not a tech person. So this hopefully will go smoothly enough, but we will see. All right. So hello and welcome again. My name is Rachel. I am the owner of Journey Back Quilts and the creator of this online course. Now, Lori Holt is who wrote this pattern, and it is adorable, as you can see behind me with all of these cute blocks behind me. Now, if you're not a quilter, this may seem really intimidating and overwhelming to you because there's a lot of pieces back there, aren't there? But I want to encourage you that you can do this as well, even if you are brand new to quilting, and I'm going to help you get there. So as I said, my name is Rachel Miller. I have been married to my handsome hubby, Jay, who we nicknamed Mr. Iron Man because he helps me in the business by prepping all of the t-shirt quilts and projects that we have going on here. So he does a lot of ironing. And I'm mom to two cute little kiddos, Ezra and Selah, and we homeschool them. So they keep me very busy as well. They are just so awesome. They also help us in the business when they can, taking shirts apart when we're making t-shirt quilts and things like that. So they are so helpful and so fun. I started this journey back when I was a young teenager. So here you can see me. I'm in the lower left in my orange little shirt there. And my mom, my aunts, my grandma, my sisters, and my cousins are all there. We all got together once a week in the summertime and learned a different quilt block from our grandma. She wintered in Arizona, so when she came back up here for the summertime, we wanted an excuse to get together. And so this was our excuse. I'm sure she was learning how to quilt at the time as well, so she thought she would love or share her love of quilting with us as well. And to be honest, I didn't enjoy the process of quilting. In fact, I probably would use the word hate. And I got frustrated every single time I tried to make a quilt block. Now, we only had 4 sewing machines and 1 iron and ironing board for all of these women. And if you have ever quilted before, it takes a lot of going back and forth between the iron and the sewing machine to, excuse Macy, to get your quilt block put together. So just real quick, we are an in-home and online business. So you may have a few interruptions during this video from our little puppy Macy. She's a Papillon and she's very yappy. So she might say hi a couple times. And you want to say hi? Come here. Come here. Come show everybody. Okay. Here she is. Do you see her? Say hi, May May. So this is the yappy little dog that's always in the video. So once in a while you hear her in the background of our tutorials as well. And that's who's making all that noise, this cute little crazy dog. So she's a good girl other than yapping. But anyway, back to my story. I didn't love quilting, but I loved getting together. We always had a great time together. I grew up with my cousins and we always were just best friends. So I loved doing that. And I did learn a little bit through what they were teaching me. And let's see, fast forward a few years, my husband and I are about ready to get married. It's 2005. We are scheduled to have our wedding in May because my grandma wintered in Arizona. And so we had to wait until the spring for her to come back so we could get married with all of our family there. And so it's January and my face went paralyzed. I had Bell's palsy for some reason. Supposedly it's due to stress. So going to college and working full time and planning a wedding and doing all the other extracurricular activities that I was doing and all the things was a little stressful, I guess. So I had to take an entire month off of doing everything. Fortunately, it was only a month. But I am such a busy person. I love to stay busy and I don't sit still very easily. So my mom suggested I take all of my old jeans I had been saving and make a rag quilt with it, with her brand new Janome sewing machine. So thanks, Mom. So I did that and it didn't turn out great. I still had some holes in my quilt, but it was a great utility quilt, a great picnic blanket. So I was like, all right, well, it gave me something to do, but I still don't love it. But fast forward a few more years, it's probably around 2010. So just 11 years ago, my mom gifted me a little brother sewing machine for Christmas. She just bought all of us girls a sewing machine for Christmas. And I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom. You know how much I love to sew. It'll probably sit in my closet, honestly, or maybe my husband will use it once in a while because he liked to sew. But I thought, all right, well, I have this thing. Let's make a quilt. So my mom was gracious enough to help me buy all the fabric. I think we just bought Walmart fabric. And we created a quilt for my son who was just graduating into his big boy bed. And it went okay. But when I clipped through all of the seams to make the rag, it actually clipped through a lot of my stitches as well. And I was so frustrated with that. I'm like, there's no way I can sew all of this back together after it's been ragged. So I gave it to my mom and she helped fix it for me. So thank you, Mom. She has been a huge part of my quilting journey, as well as Grandma introducing it to us. So then the next year, my daughter's just about a year younger than my son. Of course, I had to make it fair and make her a quilt as well. And I picked a different pattern, although it was still kind of a rag pattern. And I have a picture of that as well with her cute, oh, there's my grandma. There she is with the quilt. Isn't she cute? So once I figured out how to do this pattern, something just clicked. I don't know what it was, but I just found my patience for quilting, but also my relaxation in it. You know, I put on a movie or some music or something, and I was able to just sit and sew. And the cool thing was, once I was done with the quilt, it was done. I didn't have to do it again and again and again, unlike dishes and laundry and house cleaning and picking up all the toys and wiping faces and all those things. So I was like, you know, I really like this. And I am one that I just love productivity. I have that to-do list. I get those things checked off my list. And so when I am able to finish a quilt, I feel so accomplished and so excited and proud of myself. So that was the quilt that sparked this whole entire journey. Of course, the ones before that helped, but this is the one that really sparked my love for it. So after that, friends were seeing that I had this gift and talent, and they just kept asking me to make quilts for them as well. And I gladly did that, saying, yeah, you can support my quilting hobby. So sure, I'll make you a quilt. And so they would pay for, their supplies or whatever, and I would do the quilting for minimal, if not free, and had a great time with that. I also, during that time, I'm not sure what the next slide is. Oh yeah, okay. So before this, though, I had a back injury that I had to have surgery for, and so quilting was a lifesaver during that time. It helped distract me from the pain of my back, and it gave me something to do with my hands so that I still felt productive, even though I wasn't able to be as active as I was used to being. And then fast forward a few more years, my husband had a traumatic accident. So I think that's the next slide here. I just have to show you because, and I don't show you this because, oh, woe is me or anything, but I just have to show you how good, I'm going to cry, how good our God is. He is amazing. So my husband fell 16 feet on his head during a work day. He was plumbing an underground construction house, so he was doing the foundation. Well, he was handing a jackhammer down to his friend who was on the ladder, and he couldn't recover. He couldn't stand back up, so he dove headfirst into this foundation on his head. As you can see the x-ray, he broke his back in 2 places. It's amazing that his spinal cord didn't sever. It was, God just held it together, and but it compressed it enough that he did go paralyzed for about 8 weeks. And the rehab place that he was in was teaching him just to live in a wheelchair. They were teaching him how to do transfers and how to live in a wheelchair. And he's like, why are they doing this? God's going to heal me. I know this. Let's get me up walking. And so he convinced them to get him up walking. And there you can see he is walking. And he is so much better than these pictures now. You hardly can tell that he had an accident, but he still deals with pain every day, all day long. So he's unable to work other than to help me a little bit. So that's where this business got started, was a need for our family, and just my love of quilting exploded. Now, my dream was to be a stay-at-home mom, to homeschool my kids. And I'm like, how can I combine both of these? And I say that like I methodically thought this out, but honestly, God just slowly evolved it and just showed us what we were to do. Like those friends who just kept asking me to make a quilt, then they would tell their friends, or their friends would see a post on Facebook, and then they would contact me to make one. And then pretty soon it became all of these memory quilts, and we were making t-shirt quilts out the wazoo. And so in 2017, I bought my first long arm so that I could finish the quilts faster and easier. And we have since upgraded that long arm this year. And so we're pumping those babies out really quickly now, which is awesome. But every year, God just grows this business a little bit more and a little bit more. So last year, during all that pandemic, right before it started, in fact, I wanted to do an online class. And this was the online class that we were going to do, the Farm Girl Vintage. Before that, I had been teaching other quilting classes inside my home at other quilt shops. But I have a huge teaching background. I'm not a certified teacher per se, but I went to college to become one, and I just didn't finish because I started working as a preschool teacher, and that was that. So, but I've taught Sunday school since I was 12 years old when I got into the preschool age there. And I was also homeschooled myself, so that taught me how to be very diligent in getting my work done and being a self-learner and all those kinds of things. So thanks, Mom and Dad. We also, as you can see, my sisters and I were figure skaters. And so I taught figure skating as well. And so that was really fun. And then it all kind of evolved into these quilting classes, which is so much fun. So God just knew that the pandemic was coming. And so he needed to prepare a way for us to continue our quilting classes without actually having to be outside the home or bringing people inside of our home. And so he just sparked this interest in me and seeing how I could do it online. And so that's where I dove into all this tech stuff and started learning how to film and edit videos and all the website stuff and everything like that. So it's always a work in progress because things are always changing, but I'm so grateful that he has helped teach me how to do all of that. So Now, I got introduced to Lori Holt back when I was doing one of those in-home classes. One of my students and now my friend Erin, she brought this book to me called Farm Girl Vintage. And she's like, we should do this one next. And so I looked at it, I'm like, holy cow, this is adorable. I love this. And all the fabric and all the things. Well, my mom and I were able to go to the Garden of Quilts quilt show in Lehi, Utah, which is hosted at Thanksgiving Point, Ashton Gardens. It's gorgeous. We were able to go there just a couple weeks ago for their third show. And Lori Holt was there that first year. And I got to meet her. She signed my book, and that was so exciting. But Lori Holt is a genius in the crafting industry. I mean, she doesn't do just quilts. She does a ton of quilt patterns, and they're all adorable. But she also has fabric lines and paint lines and cross-stitch patterns and notions and tons of stuff. So if you haven't heard of Lori Holt, go Google her and you will see all the fun things. We carry a lot of her things, but not all of them because there's a lot. But we're slowly but surely growing our inventory of Lori Holt fun stuff. So check that out. All right. So let me grab my drink here real quick. All right. How are we doing? Do you have any questions so far? I hope that you're enjoying this presentation. I know that I am, and it's been so much fun to hang out with you. All right, so the Farm Girl Vintage class. This is an online class. You will get Lori Holt's Farm Girl Vintage book when you sign up, and her Seam So Easy guide. Now, this fun guide, I've talked about this before, but it helps you get that 1/4 inch seam allowance easily without having to have a specialized foot for it or something like that. So it also helps us with making those half square triangles and flying geese blocks with that center line so we can get that diagonal seam just perfect. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm going to teach you all of this within the class. So don't worry. You get 65 video lessons. I know, that's a lot. It seems overwhelming, but it's really not. A lot of the videos are less than 30 minutes long, so you can get them done quickly and learn the technique and move on quickly so that you're not watching hours and hours and hours of videos. Okay, you also get lifetime access to this class. So once you've purchased it, you get it forever. So all of those videos can be watched over and over and over again as many times as you need to. So say you want to make a whole quilt out of the simple star, which is this cute one in the corner of her quilt, then you can watch that video over again and remember how to do it and go make a whole bunch of those to make one quilt out of that one block. Or you can make a fun sampler just like this one is. There's so many different blocks that if you're like me and you get bored easily with one block going over and over and over again, this is the quilt for you because you'll be able to just make so many different kinds of blocks. I mean, look at how cute they are. There's a little farmhouse and a barn and cherries and chickens and baby chicks. And then there's all those traditional blocks as well. You also get a private Facebook page so that you can connect to the other students within this class. And let me tell you, it is so much fun. There's so many blocks that get posted every week, almost every day. There's a new block being posted by someone, and it usually encourages other students to start their quilting journeys too and get started. And then they start posting all their pictures, and it's just like this avalanche of adorable Lori Holt blocks just exploding. It's also a great way to ask for help. So if you ever get stuck on something or you have a suggestion, maybe you found a simpler way of doing things, you can post that in that group and we can help each other out. Of course, you can always reach out to me personally through our email if you need some additional support. I will be sending you monthly emails within this class so that you will know exactly where you're supposed to be. But our website lays everything out exactly in the order that you should do it, from the very easiest blocks to the most advanced blocks, so that even a beginner quilter can do this quilt. And I'm going to show you a sneak peek in the classroom in just a minute. So you're going to learn how to cut out your fabric and how to waste less fabric. I'm going to show you tips and tricks on how to fold your fabric when you cut it so that you can cut through it quickly and easily and waste less fabric at the same time. It's so much fun. I've seen so many different students when they just come in with pieces of fabric that kind of have a little chunk out of it here and a chunk out of it there. And that's more wasteful than if you do it in the way I'm going to show you within the class. So you also will get a PDF printout on how to cut out the background fabric. So I'll give you the dimensions of how to cut out each thing. So if you want to go through and cut out all of the fabric for the blocks at one time, like I like to do it, it's a lot of work, but I like to get the cutting done first so that I can just focus on the fun part of putting them together. You can do that, or you can cut them as you go. Doesn't matter either way. There's also a PDF with Avery labels for both the background fabric and the colored fabric. So if you are going to cut out all of your fabric at one time, you can label each piece with which size it is, so you don't have to remember that the whole time. And then we just organize each block in its own Ziploc baggie, and that way you stay organized and clean, and you can just grab your baggie and start quilting. All right, so the first blocks you're going to learn are how to nest your seams. This is a foundational type technique. I call it the fundamentals. So there's several fundamental blocks. Let's see, how many do I have in here? There's 5 fundamental type steps to quilting. So these are going to teach you all of those steps that you're going to need to know little bit by little bit so that you're not going to be overwhelmed and you're going to be able to quilt quickly and you're going to learn how to quilt quickly. So these first blocks are called nesting seams, and it's so much easier to do this. So you get those perfect points and every seam will match up, and you'll learn how to piece things together really quickly and easily. The next step that you'll learn is half square triangles, or HST for short. And aren't these adorable? Look at that scrappy strawberry and the butter churn, or this is the churn dash block, and the scrappy maple leaf and pinwheel block. So you're going to learn 2 different ways of making a half square triangle block, 1 at a time or 4 at a time. And that's kind of where the quilting magic comes in, where you can make 4 blocks at one time. It's really cool. And I'm going to teach you how to do it. And then the next technique is flying geese. Again, you're going to learn how to do those 1 at a time, and also the no waste method, which is 4 at a time. So much faster and easier to do it 4 at a time. And look at those fun blocks. You've got the furrows block, butter churn block, peas and carrots block, and one of my favorites is the grandma's quilt block. All right, the next one you're going to learn is the inset squares, or square within a square method. And I accidentally called these cornerstones within the video because I think another pattern that I had learned on called them cornerstones as well. But there's another technique that uses cornerstones, and I'm going to show you that as well. So within the videos, I probably call them cornerstones, and you can just disregard that. You're still going to learn the technique, whichever way you want to call it. It doesn't matter. So we've got the fresh flower block, spring star block, the country crossroads block, cool threads block, and then there's also 2 more in this section that's not pictured, the corn and tomatoes block and baby chick block. So everything is broken down into little steps, and then you get the practice on how to make each technique, and then you start combining all of these methods. So there's one more technique that have these 2 blocks, the hourglass technique. And so it makes this hourglass type block that's in the Sunday morning block and the summer star block. All right, and then we start combining all of those methods to make the rest of the blocks, which are so adorable. Look at that woolly sheep and the welcome block, the simple star, winter star, tumbleweed, and the water turn block are pictured here. But there are so many blocks. So there's 24 more blocks after the fundamental blocks. And if this feels overwhelming to you, you can just choose to make whichever blocks you want to choose. That's the beauty of this online class. You get to choose what you want to do. You don't have to just follow the teacher's instructions. But I will tell you, they are addicting and they go pretty quickly once you start them. With cutting and piecing them, it might take you about 2 to 3 hours depending on where your skill level is. But if you have all the cutting out, you should be able to quilt a block within an hour or so. So even if you only have an hour a week, you can get this done within the year. All right, so here's a fun student testimonial. This is Erin. This is the one who introduced me and got me started with Lori Holt's patterns. So thanks a lot, Erin. She says, I'm so glad I took the Farm Girl Vintage class with Rachel. I was able to go at my own speed from home while having her helpful videos available anytime I was able to get some sewing in. So yes, thank you so much, Erin. I'm so glad that you were able to join us for this class after getting me addicted to it. And here's some of her blocks. Let me tell you, it was hard to choose which blocks to show you guys because they are all amazing. I'm going to show you several other of our students' blocks, and I couldn't choose which ones. So I kind of just randomly chose 6 blocks to show you because that's all this PDF would be able to hold on it. But they are so adorable and so fun. So here she has her churn dash block, the scrappy maple leaf, the spring star block, and pinwheels block, furrows block, and the peas and carrots block. Great job, Erin. You're doing so good. I just love seeing the pictures pop up on our Facebook page. So cool. Okay, and so here's some more of mine. So we've got the cherries block and the quilty barn block and Old Glory block, the pumpkin, I think it's a patchwork pumpkin. I think that's what it's called. And then the out to pasture and the mama hen block. So much fun. So you might see my quilts, my pieces here and go, well, Rachel, you do this as a business. You're a professional. I could never do that. But throughout this presentation, you're going to see so many of my students and how well they did that I hope that it encourages you that you can do this as well. We've had some brand new quilters join us for their very first quilt, and they have done amazing work. So Cindy was another one who was in my original class that I had in my home, and she is working through these at her own pace. So she's been in this class. I think she was one of the very first to start, and she's still working through her blocks. She has a very, very busy life with work and school and kiddos and all the things. So she's able to just jump back in when she has time and watch a video and make her quilt block as she can on her own time. So look at how great she's doing. I love her colors and the blocks. She has her churn dash 2 down here, and the fresh flower block, the scrappy strawberry, the kitchen window, grandma's quilt block, one of my favorites, and the chicken foot block. Now, everybody has a hiccup with the chicken foot block. So when you get to that one, just FYI, everybody gets a hiccup with that one. It just has a lot of pieces to it. And look at how great her points are matching up and how beautiful it looks. So great job, Cindy. So here's a few more of mine for those combination blocks. If you ever have any questions about this course, leave them in the chat box and I will get to them as soon as we're done here with the presentation. All right, this is my mama that helped teach me how to quilt. And she says, I joined the membership class for 2 reasons. Now, she meant membership class, but this is not a membership, so just FYI. Um, she says, I wanted to quilt more and I needed some social interaction. The membership has made me more disciplined in making a sewing routine, and I feel so accomplished when I've made a quilt block. Rachel is a great teacher. Although I'm not a novice quilter, I've learned so many techniques from her that have made my quilting experience easier and much less frustrating. Because of COVID, the social interaction was not in person, but I've had lovely conversations on social media and found quilting friends across the country. So yes, that is one great point. Our Facebook page is a great resource to be able to reach out with other quilters all around the country. It's not just in our area here in Casper, Wyoming, but we have students in Texas and in Pennsylvania and Florida and all over the world. So much fun to be able to connect with everybody. And here's some of her blocks. So cute. I love her little fresh farmhouse block. And then her Sunday morning block, the autumn star, the welcome block, the pears block, and her water turn block. So I have a little video from an interview I did with her. So I want to show that to you as well. So here she is.
Hello again.
Hello.
Thanks so much for joining me tonight.
Of course. My pleasure.
Yeah, so you're doing a great job on all of your quilt blocks, and you'll just have to show us all the stuff you're doing.
Okay, well, thank you.
What's your favorite block so far?
My favorite block is, I love this one. I love the way it, sorry, my dog. I love the way you're using everything that's angly, but it looks curved.
Oh,
I don't know why it does. So I loved it so much that I had to make two.
oh, pretty.
So I love the way, I mean, almost to me, this looks like a curve in a way instead of points. I don't know why.
Probably because your middle section, you fussy cutted that fabric that's got the curved piecing in it. So it might just be tricking your eye that there's curves going on.
Yeah, but this one I didn't.
Doesn't. Yeah.
And it still seems kind of like a curve somehow right in here. But I love that one. I love that. And I love that it's the welcome block.
Here's mine over here.
There it is. Yeah. I love that it's a welcome block. So it's welcoming.
Yeah. I love that one too. One of my favorites. All of the star type ones I think are my favorites, even though like this one's so fun and so is the baby chick and all those other characters, but I just love those traditional blocks too.
Yeah.
Did you make your autumn star block?
I did. Let me see, where did I put it?
That one's so pretty.
I have it here somewhere. There it is. This is I do like the autumn star ones too. This one reminds me of a sawtooth star, kind of. And that was the very, very first block that I ever made with my mom. So
cool. Yeah. How has this class helped you in your quilting journey?
Well, I have been quilting now for, I don't even know how long, 20 plus years. But I haven't ever, I think I've maybe finished 2 quilts in that whole time. And so this class is helping me stay on track and helping me stay on task. Gives me something to look forward to, but always also, I know that I could move ahead if I needed to, but I can still just do 1 block a week. And with my schedule, I have 6 lovely grandchildren that I get to spend most weekends with. And I am the office manager where I work. So I don't have a lot of time to quilt, but this keeps me to where I get to do something I look forward to every week. I can choose either a Wednesday evening or a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon or something. And I can do a whole block in just a few hours because of how detailed all of the instructions are with the class and having to watch the video. And it just makes it seem doable, capable. I'm capable of doing it. So
awesome. Are you cutting out your blocks as you go then?
Yes. Yes, I'm not the best at picking colors, so that intimidates me a lot. So having your example, and a lot of times you've given us a couple of examples, so that makes me it gives me a little bit more like freedom, I guess, to say, oh, that's how you could use, because some of the fabrics in the bundle I wasn't real fond of. They remind me of a Sears catalog. Just like this one reminds me of an old pattern that, yeah. Anyway,
The
so
dress
it was like,
pattern.
yeah, an old dress pattern. And
Mhm.
so, but some of the ways that you've shown how you use that fabric in your blocks has given me a little bit more, I guess, freedom and just, I don't know, the want to try to figure out how to make those. And I have made a couple of blocks that I was not happy with at all with the colors. I thought they would go beautifully together, and it turned out to be, instead of pop, 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 it was blah, blah, blah. So I had to remake that one.
Mhm.
So looking at I do tend to cut out as I go after I've watched your video, but a couple times, because I am your mom, it's been pretty funny. I've picked exactly the same stuff and I cut before. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, the nice thing about quilting is if you don't like the fabric, you're cutting it up into teeny tiny pieces anyway. So you can just kind of throw a piece away that you don't like the one with the brassiere in it. Just like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're not using that in my quilt. And use the rest that have the words or
Nothing.
whatever on them. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome. Cool. I think that's funny that we picked the same colors too. We must have good taste. So that's a good pain point to mention, because sometimes it is hard to kind of color match all of your fabrics together to coordinate these. So if you are purchasing the quilt kit, it comes with the 42 pieces of fat quarters plus all of your background fabric, your borders, and all that kind of stuff. And the cool thing is when you do a bundle like that, all the fabrics go together. So even if you're not in love with a certain pattern that's on the fabric, it's still going to go together really well. Like this barn here, those are all
Clothespins.
clothespins. Yes. So, and you can't tell from far away. So you kind of have to look at it from a 5-foot rule.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's awesome. I think that's all the questions I had. Do you have anything else you want to add about the class? So how about the website? How easy is it to use the website?
Oh yeah, it's very easy. I struggled at first, but once you got this one going, it's very easy. I just click on it, and then it keeps track of what I'm finished with and what I have yet to go to. So I know, because I have a busy life and I can't remember where I was, and so that helps me a lot to be able to navigate that, to get to the classes. And yeah, I really, really enjoy it. I love the videos. I love how you have personalized them. I mean, of course, I love you because you're my daughter, but just some of the little, stories of how you have brought out why this pattern came about, or perhaps what, like there was a block called the tumbleweed or something like that, and you gave us a story about the tumbleweed. I didn't know that, and it was very interesting. So your videos are very entertaining as well as educational.
That's the homeschool mom in me.
There you go. Me
Yep.
too.
Yep.
But like I said, I have quilted for like 20 plus years. I've sewn since I was a little girl. I learned how to sew during 4-H when I was probably 10 years old. Made a cute little apron and stuff. But anyway, just watching the videos though, I could probably make this quilt by looking at the book, because I do have a knowledge of sewing. But just some of the ways that you have shown us how to even cut the fabric.
Oh, we lost you.
Did I go away?
Yep, there you are.
My sister's calling me.
Oh,
How to iron the fabric so that it will flow better. There was one time where you said, hey, we're going to press these seams towards this part so that part will pop more when you quilt it. I had never thought of that. I was always like, let's all go this way, or let's all go that way, or let's go this way so that we nest. And having to make a block so that a portion of the block pops when you're going to put it on a long arm or quilt it, however you're going to do that. I had never thought of that before. So it that just really had opened up my eyes about that. So
Cool. Yeah.
and that's something that I have appreciated too, is seeing the other students' blocks, because the creativity is just amazing, and just the community of these quilters that are all doing this together, and it just makes us, in this time with this world, just like we're a little bit more together, you know, instead of being isolated. Even though we're so far apart, we're doing the same thing, we're working on the same project, and that just brings kind of a community feeling to it. And I really enjoy that, kind of like an old-fashioned quilting bee.
Yes. That is my dream as well, that someday if we have a brick and mortar, we're definitely having quilting bees so that we can have that community aspect. But being in the world that we live in now, it's great to be able to do it virtually, like you said. So I really appreciate that myself. You all quilters, you know my heart and you know my obsession, so you get me, and it's fun to hang out with you.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me tonight. I loved hearing about
pleasure.
Well, that was awesome. Thanks so much, Mom. You did a great job on making these blocks, and she is almost done making her quilts. She's actually making these into 3 quilts, I believe. And so they're almost done. I can't wait to see them. Awesome. So here you can see a few more of my blocks that are the combination blocks, but you're also going to get videos on how to put the sashing on and the cornerstones, the borders, including how to do mitered corners and squaring your quilt once it's been quilted, and also how to bind it. So you're going to learn everything on how to start and finish your quilt. You also get some bonuses with this class. Yay! Everybody loves free gifts, right? So you get videos on how to make some of your blocks into pillows, some throw pillows, easily and quickly. Also, you'll get 20% off long arming services for this quilt. That includes if you need backing fabric, batting, and the thread charges on that. So 20% off all long arming charges on this quilt. If you finish your quilt within a year, you'll also get a bonus gift from me, which is a surprise, so I can't tell you. There's also lessons on for beginners on how to set up your sewing machine, how to use a rotary cutter, and all the tools that you're going to need. Like I said, you'll get tutorials on how to finish it, the pillow sham, also the 3 bonus blocks that are in her book, which are the barn and the silo and the tractor block, which are a little bit bigger size blocks than what we're making. The blocks that we're making are the 12.5-inch blocks. She does have another size blocks of all of these blocks that I've shown you already for a 6-inch size, which are the teeny tiny ones that you can see in these barn and silo blocks. And those are great. But if you are a brand new quilter, I would suggest you start with the 12-inch blocks, just because the bigger pieces are a little bit easier to maneuver than these 6-inch blocks. Okay, here you can see the silo and the tractor and the barn quilt, and they have that secondary little quilt block within it. How cute is that? So Kendra, she started her quilt the beginning of this year, and she is almost finished with hers as well. Plus, she's made other quilts within the classes that we've done throughout this year as well. So she is doing amazing. She says Rachel's fun and informative videos make it easy to learn beginner and longtime quilter techniques. She is so accessible to help with all of my questions. Thanks, Kendra. I hope that I can be accessible for others as well. So that's where our Facebook community comes in, or you can message us on Facebook anytime. We're on there often, but you can also email us or whatever. So hang on, let me get a drink real quick. Okay, and here's some of her adorable blocks. Look at the mason jar block and the kettles on block with her little teapot. And welcome home, and her postage stamp and tumbleweed and the crops block. Great job. And Kendra was a brand new quilter at the beginning of this year as well. She has never quilted before, and she has finished 2 full quilts, I believe, maybe 3. I'm counting 3, I think. Yes. And then this one is going to be her 4th. So she's almost done with it, which it's a big quilt. Let me tell you, if you make all of the blocks, you can turn this into a queen size quilt if you would like to, or you could make several throw quilts with it. And it's totally up to you. And I also have a PDF printout on different sizes and how many blocks you will need in each of those sizes, and how many cornerstones and sashing strips and how wide you want your border to be to create whatever size you want, from a small throw, a normal size throw, twin, full, queen. I think I might have king on there as well. So yeah, so this class is going to help you with whatever size you want to do. What you're going to need. Okay, so you're going to need fabric, of course, right? This is a great stash buster though. So if you have a fabric stash already, you can use up what you have. But who doesn't love more fabric? Of course I do. Hello. So Lori Holt has several lines out. We have 3 of her fat quarter bundles available, and those are what are pictured. So the top left corner is the Vintage Happy 2, which is what I made my quilt out of. And let's see if I can switch the camera view so you can see me here. So you can see back here as well. So this was the Vintage Happy 2 fabrics. And when you do it in a bundle, it's helpful because they all go together really well. But all of her fabrics go together pretty well. She kind of uses the same color scheme throughout all of them, adding in a few more colors here and there, and they all go really, really well together. So okay, so the middle one is her newest line, which is called Stitch. And that one you get 42 pieces of all of those fabrics. So you can see there's lots of blues and reds, some pinks and whites and yellows, green, gray, brown, and some more whites. So that one's great as well. Or the bottom right is her Prim line, and that one's really fun. So when you buy our fabric kit, you get 5.5 yards of a background color, which we use the Riley white color, and then you get a fat quarter bundle pack like this of your choice, and then 2 yards of another fabric for your borders. So we have a multicolored, it looks like an orange peel type pattern to go with the Vintage Happy 2. And we have her Autumn Love that goes really well with Prim. We don't necessarily have one of her fabrics for Stitch yet, so we can substitute a solid or something else for that if you want Stitch. So you get the 5.5 yards of background, 2 yards of border, and a fat quarter bundle if you want our kit. But if you want to just use up your stash, that's totally fine as well. Okay, so you're going to need your tools, right? So you're going to need a sewing machine, of course. You're going to need some needles for that sewing machine. I suggest using a 90-14 top stitch needle. I love Superior's needles that are pictured here. They have a titanium coated needle, so they last a lot longer. They stay sharp a lot longer. So you don't have to change out your needle as often. I also really love the Aurifil thread because you get a lot more thread on the spool and it's less linty. So you won't have to clean out your machine as often. So those are 2 things I would recommend getting if you don't have those already, or if you don't have something that you can use. But if you need to use up something, if you have some Coats and Clark or something you need to use up, that's totally fine as well. Of course, you're going to need a self-healing mat, which is your cutting mat, a rotary cutter, A quilting ruler, I really like using the Fisker's 12.5-inch and 6.5-inch rulers. They come in a set, and so that's just really helpful. But whatever rulers you have on hand already, it's just, if you're a brand new quilter and you don't have these tools yet, those are the ones that I would recommend. You'll want some fabric scissors, snippers, a seam ripper, of course, because we can't do without our best friend Jack. Of course we need Jack. You're going to have some oopsies once in a while, and I have a video in this course that will tell you exactly how to use Jack and get back to sewing quickly so that you don't have to sit there and pick every little tiny stitch out. You'll just be able to unzip your stitch pretty much and get back to sewing. So it'll be so much easier. I use some fun tools that aren't necessary, like a cutting gizmo, and I don't have a picture of them. Let me see if I have it sitting here. I don't, amazingly. All right. Well, a cutting gizmo or some kind of thread cutter. So when we're chain piecing, which I'm going to show you how to do that too, then you can cut those apart easier. A tailor's clapper. I really like this with ironing nowadays. I didn't use this in this course, but this is something I really like to use now. A seam roller you could use. So handy, stickers. A design board is really helpful. And I don't have any of that right next to me. It's all behind my quilt. So, alrighty. So those are just some fun tools. They're not necessary, but they're fun. All right, so here's Rhonda's quilt. Look at how pretty this is. Look at all of those fabrics. So she used the Vintage Happy 2, but she also included some of her own fabric stash in this, and they went together beautifully. I think she just did amazing. So you see all those little tiny squares, those are called cornerstones, and the white strips in between the blocks are called sashing. And so we teach you how to put those on. It's not necessary, but it frames the block really nicely. So if you want to have that block kind of just pop and stand out, putting a sashing around it really helps. All right, and then Teresa, we have another Teresa. So my mom is Teresa, but this is another Teresa, and she's doing amazing too. Oh my goodness, I love her autumn star block in the bottom corner. It's so beautiful. Those oranges and the blues just pop so pretty. I love it. And then look at her quilty barn block. She cut out that Vintage Happy 2 fabric and stuck the lady right in the window. It's perfect. I love it. So cute. She is doing an amazing job as well. Great job, Teresa. I can't wait to see that quilt finished. And Beth is doing awesome too. So she says, I love this quilt. I've been quilting a long time, and I'm not particularly a farm girl type, but I have loved this quilt pattern and class. It challenged me to pick different fabrics that I normally wouldn't try, and I love them all. Now I'm addicted to all of Lori Holt's patterns. The video lessons in this course are invaluable. And Beth has been quilting for a very long time, probably before I started quilting. And she is an amazing quilter. So I was very humbled and grateful for her to join our class. And she shared with me that she learned several new techniques that she hadn't known before. So even if you are a seasoned quilter, you might pick up some things that you don't already know in this class. I don't know, but we would love to have you join us either way. So look at her fun blocks, her sunflower block, and her little baby chick is so cute, and her woolly sheep. Oh, I love her pumpkin too. So fun. Great job, Beth. I can't wait to see that finished quilt. I think she's finished it already, because in the next clip here I'm going to show you, I did an interview with her a while ago, and she said she's about finished, and I still haven't seen that picture, Beth. So if you have it, send it to me. All right, let me see. Let me find which one it was. I think it was this one.
Let's talk a little bit about the Farm Girl Vintage Quilt. How are you liking it so far?
I love it. I'm pretty much done. You know, I've quilted a long time, but when I think we approached each other about doing something, and you told me you were doing this class, and I just thought, you know what, let's try it, you know, and I guess I'm not really a farm girl person per se, as far as in my house, but I have grown to absolutely love this. I'm very addicted to it. I want to start some more of Lori Holt's projects just because I love doing a different block. It's not the same all the time. So yeah, and I love it. I've really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Good. I'm so glad. Do you have some of your favorite blocks you can show us?
Oh yeah, you're gonna love her. She's just the cutest little thing. There is my
Oh,
woolly. Was it a woolly? Yeah, woolly sheep. And
yeah.
I had so much fun. I ended up having to buy some more. Oh yeah, they look really similar.
Yeah, they do.
Anyway, I ended up getting some more Lori Holt fabric. I think it's her new line called Prim.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it really blends well. Yeah,
Good.
so that's what I used on this one with a little bit of the other fabric.
Awesome. It looks awesome. I love it.
Yeah. So, and then I love doing a little needlework too.
Uh-huh.
And then the other one that I love is, and here she is. And I wanted to do a sunflower. So I did get different fabric for that one.
That's beautiful. I love it. Yeah, mine kind of turned out like a stop sign. So
well, I remember you said that, but you know, the thing I like about it is that we ended up, it was really easy for me once I got started doing the project to create it as I went along. I did not pre-cut all my pieces. And I just really had a lot of fun once I got into it by just picking out what I wanted for that main, and then I would add, and it really moved me out of my comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I just didn't, I like sameness and symmetry, and this was just, it really set me out to try different things that weren't always so matchy, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they all just, I mean, I love them because you just started with something and then you worked out from it. So I'm anxious to put it together. And then I love this one too. Well, I love them all, so I can't show them all to you, but see that?
Yes. I love the welcome block too. It's so cute.
Yeah. And there were things I bought extra fabric from you too, from the things you had at your house or at your shop, excuse me.
Yeah.
So like this one, the red was something that I got from you.
Yeah, that works really well with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I'm really anxious to put it together so I can see it finished.
Yeah. Good. Good. Well, you'll have to go and watch the sashing and the border videos so you can put those together next.
Yeah, I did. I haven't gotten there. Yeah. First, I didn't know if I should put the little squares in there, but now I see it behind you. And are those 2.5-inch squares?
No. No, yes, they are. They're 2.5-inch. Yeah. Finished at 2 inches. Yeah.
So at first I didn't know if I was going to do it, but now when I see yours, I think I will. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So fun. I love all those blocks that you've been making. And all of the fabrics, even though they're not from the same line, they're going to go really well all together once you put it all together.
I agree. Well, I mean, this has turned into something I absolutely love doing.
Yeah,
and I've got her vintage Christmas book, and I'm looking for that fabric. I still haven't found it, but I think I'd love to do that one too.
Yeah.
Once you start doing these, you get hooked on them.
Yep. I agree. And they go really quickly is the fun thing too. So you see progress quickly instead of it taking forever. So it makes it more fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there any tips or technique tricks that you've learned along the way that have helped you?
Nesting is so important. I just can't stress that enough. And you were really good about, you know, when you were a little short on fabric, where to make it not fabric, but when you'd sewn things together and they weren't quite perfect, you had some really good tips in there. So I think your videos are invaluable. I mean,
thank you.
Definitely worth it, and you do a really nice job with it. So
well, thanks.
quilting is something I've always done. I mean, it's for a long, long time now, but I still learned a lot of new things from you. So
Oh,
for that,
good.
so I don't know what the next project's going to be. What is it?
I'm not sure yet, but I am eyeballing the Farm Girl Vintage 2 book. So we'll see if that one might come next. We'll see.
Okay, well,
Yep.
just let me know.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else to add other than it's so much fun to mix and match these fabrics. The Lori Holts are really fun to mix and match.
Yeah.
And I know if you tell them to cut that part out. I had more fun as I went along.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
making,
so there's two, you could do it either way. You could pre-cut everything like I did because I just hate to cut. So I wanted to get it over with, and I organized all of them in Ziploc baggies. But then a lot of you are just cutting them as you go, and that's been working great for a lot of you. And yeah, so it's just depending on what your personality is like.
And I did. At first, I was really afraid to do it. So I kind of followed you and made, and then I thought, I can do this. So I would just change out a few little things, and pretty soon I was making my own design
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. And they're beautiful. I love it. I love being able to see all of your different colors and blocks that everyone is choosing for the same block, and they all turn out so unique and different, but all are beautiful. So it's so cool and fun to see.
I think we should have a party, and
Yeah.
everyone bring their quilt finished.
Right. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for those that aren't local to us, that's kind of where the Facebook page comes in, so that they can still show off their blocks and join in the fun with us as well. So yeah. It's been fun.
Good.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining me today, and just keep going on that quilt. I can't wait to see it finished.
I know. And you will be the first to see it.
All righty.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, great job, Beth. I just love all of these blocks that you showed us and how great you're doing. And I noticed something within the video. We were talking about the cornerstones being 2.5 inches, and that was not right. They are actually 1.5 inches square. So there you go. All right. Well, now you've probably got a good taste of what this course is like, and all of the things that you're going to need for it and how fun it's going to be. So how much is this thing going to cost me, right? That's the big question. Well, if you were going to pay for this as an in-person class, it would be a minimum of $500 to $650 or so. If you're going to take every single lesson in this course by itself with a teacher, even in a group setting, it'd be about $500. But we have two different payment plan options. One is the one-time payment of $297 or a 6-month payment plan. So this is a payment plan. This is not a membership. So you'll pay $57 every month for 6 months. It will be a recurring payment that just comes out of your card every month, like a subscription, but it will stop at the 6-month mark. So you can either pay one time and save that $45 or make it budget friendly and do the 6-month payment plan. And we would love, love, love to have you. So the next person I have here is my friend Judy. And she says Rachel's teaching style is so accessible and easy to follow. She does an amazing job of continuously reminding you to use helpful tips and enjoy the journey. I would recommend her to anyone for learning quilting skills from beginner to expert. You'll always find something helpful in her lessons. Well, thank you, Judy. I love that. And here are some of her fabulous blocks. Look at that cool threads block. I just love the colors she used in there and how they just pop. So fun. And her baby chick block. So we were able to have maybe a few in-person classes when this first started. And to be socially distanced, we hosted them in my garage. So you'll see a few of these pictures of them in my garage when we made that baby chick block together. So that was so fun. And then there's that corn and tomatoes block she has up in the corner, and the crossroads and Sunday morning block. And then her peas and carrots block, she changed the colors to be more patriotic. And I love how it turned out. It was so cool. So use your creativity and just open up your mind to all the different possibilities of how to put these blocks together. I've seen this quilt made with so many different color combinations, like you can use what we've done here, or I've seen some that are made with like navy blues and taupes and gold colors, or you could just make a black and white or a red and white and just make them like a two-tone color, or use any color scheme you can imagine. So you don't have to use Lori Holt's fabric if you don't want to, but it's so much fun to use as well. Okay, so here's Kara's blocks, and she's doing fantastic as well. And she has a very busy life as well. She has kiddos all over the place and grandbabies and all the fun things keeping her busy. So she comes back to this quilt when she has time and makes a few blocks, and then she lives her life for a while, and then she comes back again. And so it's so much fun to see her jump back in when she can. But look at her scrappy maple leaf and her scrappy strawberry. I love her pinwheel block. Look at those perfect points. Great job. And her chicken foot block. So cool. Those colors are so fun. And then her churn dash. Yeah, churn dash block. I'm getting it mixed up with another block. And her postage stamp block. So great. Great job, Kara. And then Pat, she is a brand new quilter as well. She just started quilting this year, and she says, I have learned so much from watching your videos. I'm an expert with my seam ripper for sure. I must see perfect seams or I'm frustrated until I do. Thanks for coming into my life and teaching me a craft at 75 that I have hoped to learn all of my life. That is just amazing. I'm just blown away that I am able to help fulfill these dreams that people had that I didn't even, I would never have thought that that would have been someone's dream, but I'm so glad that it was. And I'm so glad that you joined me, Pat. You did fantastic on your quilt. And I meant to show your picture of your finished quilt, but I got some of your quilt blocks, but Pat finished her quilt. Yay! Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. Let's throw some confetti on there. Woohoo! Whoops. So she put all these blocks together in her finished quilt, and I'm sorry, I should have put that in there and I totally forgot. So, but look at her fun water turn and quilted barn, her welcome block, tumbleweed block, her feed and seed block, the one at the bottom in the middle. I love those colors. They're so beautiful. And her crops block is so cute as well. Great, great job. So real quick, some more benefits to this class is that it is work at your own pace. So there is no set schedule to this. I have the blocks kind of laid out to where you get a section a month. So let me actually change you over to the classroom page real quick. Oops. Share screen. And let me walk you through the classroom. It's pretty fun. I have loved this website. It has been so helpful. So if you go to journeybackquilts.com, you'll see me here. Hi. And then you'll see all of our services up here. But once you have purchased the class, so you would go to classes, and then you would scroll down to the Farm Girl Vintage class. Click on that. And here you can learn more about the class. And registration does close next Thursday. So you only have a few more days to get in. And we only open this class every 6 months. So we won't have it open again until April, I believe, March or April. So you can learn more here and get signed up. But once you have signed up, you'll get an email with a login information, and then you'll go to this little avatar here. Now there's two different things. You can do this on a browser, just like I'm doing right now, or you can download the Kajabi app on your smartphone or your excuse me, your tablet or something like that. And all the courses that you've purchased through our class or anything through Kajabi will be on that app. So you can watch it from your phone. It's really cool. So you would click on your avatar, push on my library, and this is where all your courses will sit. Oh man, I was muted that whole time. I'm so sorry. Okay, rewind. Okay, well, I was telling you about Pat and how wonderful she did. So I'm sorry I didn't have her finished quilt, but she did finish her quilt. So hallelujah. Let's see. Okay, let's just keep going with where we're at here. Okay, so you're going to sign up. You're going to go to journeybackquilts.com. I'm a little flustered now, so rewind. So to sign up, you're going to click on classes and then go down to the Farm Girl Vintage class. And this will show you a little bit more about the class, and then you can click sign up to get today and then choose which payment works best for your budget. Once you have signed up, then you'll get an email with login information. Now you can do this two different ways. You can either go through your browser to journeybackquilts.com, and then you'll click this little avatar guy and go to my library. Or if you want to do it through your phone or your tablet, you can go to the Kajabi app. That's Kajabi, and download that app. And then any course that you've purchased through a Kajabi user will be in that app. So anything you purchase from us will be in there, or anyone else. So then you would go down to your course here, which is the Farm Girl Vintage Workshop. And here you'll see everything you need to know. Right here on the right-hand side, you'll see how many lessons are on the side. And it'll show you how many you've completed of how many you have left. So it says I have 32 completed out of 65. And it's just kind of fun to see your progress grow as you go through these. So scroll down after watching that welcome video and start at course introduction. Okay, so just making sure my sound was working again. All right, so you would click course introduction. It's thinking. Come on, there we go. Okay, and then you can watch all the videos within that category. So meeting me, your website tour, which I'm doing right now, how to attach your Seam So Easy guide. Now this was the old Seam So Easy guide that I originally used. They've since upgraded it, so it's not as hard to use. You used to have to cut out the center point, and they just have it cut out for you now, so you don't have to do that part. But then I'll show you how to square your fabric before cutting it and how to cut out the fabric for this class. Okay, and then you can go back. These are called breadcrumbs up here. So you just click on categories and you'll go back to all the categories. So after watching the course introduction, go to fundamentals, and this will show you all the fundamental blocks that I was talking about. So the first month that you're quilting, you want to focus on making these blocks if you can. And then the next month, you'll make these ones. And then flying geese blocks and inset squares. So it's about one block every week. You can make as many as you want though, or as little as you want. That's the beauty of an online class. You can work at your own pace and do this at your own pace. Now, each section is locked, so you can't just jump from this one to this one without watching the postage stamp block first. Once you've watched that one, then it will allow you to go into the next section and so on and so on. So that it's less overwhelming and you can work through all of them that you want to. But once you've watched it, it shows you that you've watched it and there's a little check mark. Okay, so that's the course, and you can see there's the combination blocks and then how to finish your quilt top, and the bonuses are in there as well. So if you ever needed anything from our shop, you can click here and it'll take you right to our shop so you can get what you need. And there's a link to our Farm Girl Facebook page, so you can click there to show us your pictures and ask questions or anything like that. All right. Okay, I think, let me see here. I had one more thing to show you. There we go. Okay, so here is Pat's quilt blocks again, but she did finish her quilt and she did a great job. So I think my mic was muted at that time. So let me just reread her testimonial. She says, "I have learned so much from watching your videos. I'm an expert with my seam ripper for sure. I must see perfect seams or I'm frustrated until I do. Thanks for coming into my life and teaching me a craft at 75 that I have hoped to learn all of my life." Well, I'm so glad that I was able to help you, Pat, and fulfill that dream of yours to be able to quilt. And now seeing all the quilts that you're coming out with and gifting to your grandbabies and your children, it's so cool to be able to leave a legacy like that. I know my grandma had made us all quilts, all of her sisters and her children and her grandchildren, and even a lot of the great-grandchildren got quilts before she passed away. And they are so special. They're such a great memory to hang on to. And I'm actually sitting on the one she made me. So she's kind of with me, but this is the one she made me. And it's just so special to be able to have a piece of her with us forever. So this is a great way to be able to do that. But all right, well, you are invited to join us. Yay! I hope that you will. So registration closes next Thursday, September 30th, before midnight. So make sure that you get in before then. And remember, this is a work at your own pace class. So you can do this however you would like to. You don't have to, get it all done in a weekend. You can take your time and enjoy the process. Another benefit is you get to quilt on your own schedule. So you don't have to put this class on your calendar necessarily. If you want to quilt at midnight, you can do that. If you want to quilt before you need to go to work or at nap time while the kiddos are taking naps, then you can do that as well. So that's the great benefit of an online course like this. You're going to learn how to quilt quickly. So you're going to make progress really quickly without too much frustration. You won't have to haul your machine and all the accessories to a class every week. They'll just be set up in your home. You can set up in your dining room or your living room. That's where I started quilting before we turned a bedroom into my studio. And now I've taken over the entire basement. So it'll just keep growing. You can choose to sew along with the video, or you can watch the video first and then sew. So there's lots of benefits to this class. I'm sure there's even more I didn't think of, but yeah, that's kind of everything in a nutshell. So I am so glad that you joined me. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Saturday morning to hang out with me. I know this was a very long video compared to what we usually do. One, I wanted to practice kind of how to do a webinar type presentation like this. So thanks for letting me practice on you. And two, I just wanted to share everything I could about this Farm Girl Vintage class because there's so much involved. There's so many benefits. There's just so much quilting knowledge in there that I want to share with you. And it's hard for me to tell you all in a 10-minute live video on Facebook or YouTube or whatever. So I wanted to take some time and really break down everything that is in this course. So I hope that you are inspired and you're excited to join me in this class. Just go on over to I think there's a link in the description box, or you can go to journeybackquilts.com and click on classes, then click on the Farm Girl page, and then you can sign up right there. So I hope that you'll see me in there. I'm ready for you. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.